Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Stylist Meets Vinyl. My name is Chris. Today I want to talk to you guys about side-long songs. How many albums do you have that have one side dedicated completely to one song? I was thinking about this the other day while I was listening to an album, which I'll show you, and it was the genesis for this video where I was thinking, man, I really like these side-long songs for a number of reasons. But I started to think, how many do I have in my collection? And I've got quite a few. I ended up picking out 5 from my collection, particularly good ones that I wanted to show you and just discuss why I love these 5 side-long songs. So let's get into it here. This first one, this is Rare Earth, Get Ready. This is from their 1969 album, and this is on the Rare Earth label, which was a subsidiary of Motown Records, and Motown Records wanted to start to get away from, well, particularly with this label, they wanted to attract more of a rock audience, and so they developed this label and they named the label after Rare Earth. And this song, Get Ready, is, you'll see it right here, Get Ready, is written by Smokey Robinson. It was made popular by the Temptations, and Rare Earth does a 21-minute long version of that song, and it's a really cool, interesting cover. They totally sort of change it from being this Motown song to now being this kind of psychedelic, progressive, soulful, even funky at times version. And it's really interesting. I love side-long songs because there's some of them, you've got this feel of like a live act, you're seeing them live and they're just jamming out, and everyone in the band gets their own chance to shine. You've got like the guitar solo, and then you've got the bass player going off, and then the keyboard plays, and then the drums go. And this is no exception. There's some great guitar work on here. There's a drum solo towards the end of it. The bass player gets the time to shine as well as the keyboard, or like the organ perhaps. Really, really interesting. I bought this album for $2 at a yard sale last September, and I hadn't really listened to it because it was too dirty. I finally got it cleaned, and as I was listening to it, I was thinking, wow, there's some really cool side-long songs in my collection. And this is not an expensive album. On Discogs, I think it's worth $6 or $7, but really cool side-long, jammed out version of the Temptations' Get Ready that is definitely worth checking out if you ever see that album out and about. So that's number 1. Number 2 I wanted to show you is this one, the Almond Brothers at Fillmore East. This is their live album from, I want to say, 1970, and side 4 on here is an entire side-long version of, let me get it out here, of Whipping Post, which is written by Greg Allman, I think. Yes, written by Greg Allman. This version is almost 23 minutes long, and as this is a live album, this is exactly what I'm talking about, where the band is just jamming out. It's slow at times, it gets fast at times, they speed it up, they slow it down. Really, really cool. Just also a remarkable live album if you ever see this one as well. It's definitely worth looking into. This is bluesy and just a fantastic live album. That version of Whipping Post, which has a radio edit to it, there's a 4-minute whatever hit, like a single version of that song, but this is the extended live version, and it's really, really excellent. Definitely worth checking out. Another one of my favorite side-long songs is this one here, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida from Iron Butterfly. I think this is around 1968 this was released, and there is a 17-minute version of In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida on side 2 here. Now, this is another example of a song that was a hit on the radio. There's a 4-minute version on the radio with a lot of the stuff cut out, but this is the extended version. And I actually played this album for a couple of friends recently, last year or so. And my buddies, they were familiar with the radio version, but they'd never heard the extended version, and I played this for them, and it kind of blew them away, actually. They loved it. And I love this one in particular because the band recognizes that they have such an iconic hook, such an iconic riff in that dun 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 dun, dun, and they just really play around with that. And the guitar player has his time to go off. The organ, there's some heavy organ on here. I think it's a Hammond organ. The drums as well. And then at the end, when you've completely forgotten, because they've been jamming for so long, you've completely forgotten that there's this hook, this bass line underneath it all, that it just comes back and you realize that it was there the whole time. It was underneath the surface while they were jamming, and then it just comes back up, and they closed the song out really strong. This is one of my favorites of all the side-long songs. The next one I want to talk to you about is Rush, 2112. This is from 1976. This is their fourth album. This one, it comes after Caress of Steel, which was not that successful for them, and their label was considering dropping them, and they had negotiated that they could release one more album and they would see how it would do. And I think Rush debated with whether they wanted to go with some easy radio friendly tracks, or they should stick to their guts and go with what they kind of felt was right. And this is the result here. Side 1, 2112. This is, how long is this one? I'm not sure exactly how, 20 minutes and 36 seconds. And it's got a bunch of different parts. This sort of tells the story of like in the future, the year 2112, there's been like a galactic war, and some guy wakes up in, or he discovers a guitar in a cave, and he starts playing it. Music doesn't exist. Music, creativity, individuality doesn't exist at all. He discovers music, starts playing, but it's outlawed. And I don't want to give away what happens at the end, but it's worth listening to. A really cool song, and this is responsible for Rush's breakout in the United States following this album. It did do well, and then they became known elsewhere, and then they were able to just continue on and make more albums however they wanted to. So this one's definitely worth checking out. 2112 from Rush. And the last one I want to talk to you about, I couldn't leave this off the list. I just love it so much. I know it's an album that people talk about, I guess, quite often, but Close to the Edge by Yes. This is such an epic sidelong song, and it's dissimilar from the one I showed you, like the Rare Earth, where that one was like kind of a live track where they're jamming out, and yeah, it's more of a jam feel. This is way more polished. It's in the studio. It is meticulous. The instrumentation is very tight. There's so many different instruments here. There's like a really cool version of a fretless bass. There's a huge organ. It sounds like a giant, like a church organ that Rick Wakeman is playing on this one. And just so many twists and turns in this album. It will kind of knock you back a little bit, I think, if you've never heard it before. But if you're curious, if you've heard about this album, this is definitely worth checking out. Close to the Edge. And this one clocks in at 18 minutes and 50 seconds, so almost 19 minutes. Definitely worth checking out. I'd love to hear from you guys. What are some of your favorite side-long tracks? I've got more in my collection. I just wanted to show you these 5 quickly. Let me know in the comments which are some of your favorites, whether there's some of these or some other ones that I didn't mention. I would love to hear from you guys. If you made it this far, consider liking the video, consider subscribing to the channel, and whatever you do, make sure you come right back here where stylus meets vinyl. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to go spin some of these tunes. See ya.